The British Prime Minister David Cameron has admitted to hosting dinners for Tory party donors at Number 10 after revelations that his chief fundraiser had offered access to ministers and to the government's policy setting committee for a fee. Mr Cameron has now promised an internal party inquiry into the fundraising issue, but the opposition is calling for greater scrutiny. Europe correspondent Philip Williams reports from London.
A few days ago, the British Prime Minister David Cameron was asked by school children about where he lives.
I live in a little flat, a very nice flat, actually above number 11 Downing Street, up there. But what I get up to in there's, that's private.
It's not so private now after David Cameron was forced to reveal the names of big party donors that he'd entertained at Number 10.
In the 2 years I've been Prime Minister, there have been 3 occasions on which significant donors have come to a dinner in my flat. None of these dinners were fundraising dinners, and none of these dinners were paid for by the taxpayer.
That came after the now resigned Conservative Party co-treasurer, Peter Cruddas, offered an undercover journalist posing as a potential donor possible influence over policy and dinner with the Prime Minister for around $400,000.
Our bigger donors have been for dinner in Number 10 Downing Street, in the Prime Minister's private apartment with Samantha.
David Cameron ordered an internal party review. The opposition wants a full independent inquiry.
This scandal speaks to the conduct and character of the Prime Minister and the government. Anything short of an independent inquiry will leave a permanent stain on this government and this Prime Minister.
But the government says previous offers to reform the rules on political donations have been rejected by Labor, which did nothing during its 13 years in power.
I'm ready to impose a cap on individual political donations of £50,000 without any further need for state funding. But to be fair, this must apply equally to trade unions as well as to private citizens or businesses. We could do that tomorrow, and we could take the big money out of British politics once and for all.
It's an offer unlikely to be accepted, with the Labor Party dependent on millions of pounds of funding from the unions. The whole donation story was broken by the Sunday Times, a News Limited paper. Rupert Murdoch has been tweeting demands for an independent inquiry. Trust must be established, he said. But he had problems of his own. A few hours later, the BBC Panorama programme detailed what it alleges is evidence a News Corp-owned company was involved in the hacking and the distribution of encrypted codes that allowed people to view pay TV competitors' programmes for free, undermining the revenue base for ITV Digital, which collapsed in 2002. All allegations denied by News Corp. So now David Cameron and Rupert Murdoch share something they probably wish they didn't: calls for investigations into business practices. Both deny wrongdoing. These issues, though, will not go away. Philip Williams, Late Light.